Have you ever felt like everyone is moving forward and
Just before I proceed, I was going to say this. My first video has given still becoming, but hopefully we get better as it comes. Hello, welcome back to my channel, Still Becoming. If you're new, this place we evolve, we grow, you know, we enjoy, and yeah, if you feel like you're navigating, if you feel like you're becoming, holla. At any stage, at any point, perhaps even for the slightest of moments, that thought that everyone else is moving forward and you're just there, literally trying to catch up, trying to navigate, but things are not forming as the way they should. Well, it's a feeling. That feeling of awkwardness, watching others ahead, and you're questioning your time like, okay, what's going on? It's the reality of comparison, the reality of the timeline that society creates, at every stage of our life as a lady, as a teenager, as an adolescent, even as a child. There are set expectations like, okay, if you get into this age, you must be at this level. The pressure that comes with age, the pressure that comes with career, the pressure that comes with success as a woman, as a lady, as a wife, as a mother, as a friend. I think it was a few years back. I think in my late teenage years, I think 19 or so. I'm not really sure of the date, but I was trying, opportunities to, get my faith going. And because I've always been, I've always put a lot of pressure on myself in terms of who I've wanted to become. And so coming and meeting with the disappointment after, it all was hard. And at the time when the opportunity that I was trying to flop as well again, and seeing social media is a very powerful tool. You see achievements, you also see disappointments, and going from seeing a lot of, you know, beautiful stories online, it put a lot of pressure on myself, and even not just within me, people around me, asking you, even as little as your friend close door asking you that, oh, what you doing? Why haven't you done this? Why is she? That feeling starts to become a cycle in your head. And I always believe that context and perspective, there are two things when it comes to how our brain processes things. So there was a lot of pressure at the time that by this age, I myself put the pressure on myself that, oh, I'd mapped my life from school and then seeing that it was a total different picture. That created a backload for myself. I don't know if you've ever felt that kind of way at some point in your life where you're thinking, oh, this is not what I planned, this is what is happening. That's reality of life. And then it boils down to how do we navigate? How do we turn it into a catalyst? How do we turn it into a strength rather than a weakness? How, because the pressure would be there. The external pull, especially for someone who is very hard on themselves. Even if you're soft on yourself, we all want something for ourselves, regardless of how little or how big it is. So the pressure, especially when we are not meeting expectations. So at the time, it was really, really difficult. I would, bask in a lot of thoughts. What was I doing wrong? Where is it going bad? Is there something, and It was really, really a cycle. When all of that was a learning process, in the confusion, in the doubts, in the uncertainties, was me beginning to find solutions. Maybe not necessarily physical solutions like pam pam pam, but internally I began to navigate my way. I began to navigate my mentality, shifting it into a way that was going to be an atmosphere that I could grow myself. Well, sometimes. What if in all of the whispers, the doubts, the silent noises, the voices in our head saying, oh, you've passed your prime, you've passed your time, it's late. What if that was the context we were feeding into our brain, which is where I bring the issue of context and perspective. It is what triggers how our brain processes things. Context shapes the mindset more often than we admit. I could feel that I'm late, and that triggers into my mentality that I'm actually late. That feeds into my daily actions. That feeds into my projections. That feeds into the perspective of the world that, oh, at 18, she should be a graduate. And what happens if I have a carryover? I have financial issues. And then I carry that perspective that, oh, I'm late. My mates, as they say, they are way above, and then where I am, I'm way below. And then that shifts and births a cycle of feeling behind, births a process of feeling, backward. What I'm here to say is there's different timing, there are different seasons, there are unseen growth, there are internal development. Our dreams are different in scope, and sometimes a lot of these dreams need to have the foundation that is necessary for it to be sustainable. I feel like as internal development, and because the world validates so much of external development, that puts a pressure, that puts a picture that you're not doing enough. Perhaps you're doing so much more, but it's not your time. Perhaps your dream needs much more watering. And even if there are setbacks, there are failures, it still doesn't change the fact that you're growing. It still doesn't change the fact that you're becoming. It still doesn't change the fact that you are evolving, not just in the way that it is presumed to be. Life is not one way, especially as women. Life is dynamic. What can accelerate for someone else can be, a little, but at the end of the day, remember, you're not late. That is the mindset you must have, regardless of what's at stake, regardless of where you are today. Repeat to yourself, receive that pamper, you deserve it. And no one is going to give it to you except yourself. And so, idealize that phrase that you are not late. You are becoming, and you will always become. Even after the success, you will still keep becoming. As such, give yourself the permission to pace. Give yourself the permission to run at your own pace. Give yourself the permission that even no matter the fall, you would rise 10 times stronger, and you will not be depleted by the noises. Give yourself the permission to breathe. Give yourself the invitation to welcome the challenges, to embrace the time backlog, because you will still evolve. If ever this resonates with you, do not hesitate to join me. I will navigate our own becoming by ourselves, with ourselves, for ourselves, regardless. The pressure would be there, but we are using that pressure as our own strength. Thank you.
One thing that I've always told myself, I still tell myself, and I'll always continue to tell myself is at every season, enjoy it. Because those seasons are not your defining moment. They are seasons that are shaping you into the woman that you're becoming.